Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, and in today's video we're going to be discussing the striker position and who I think Marco Silva should play up front in the coming game. So obviously it's a topic that is getting spoken about a lot through the Everton community and with Everton fans, with the recent performances of Cenk Tosun not quite being good enough. It's a topic that certainly a lot of people are talking about and, you know, discussing whether Cenk Tosun is good enough, whether he needs replacing, whether he needs to just be taken out the team for a little while he, you know, builds his confidence back up. It's certainly a topic worth talking about, so I decided to make today's video on that topic. So I'll put a little border above me there. I've put players on this side that are natural strikers. So obviously you've got Cenk Tosun there, you've got Oumar Niasse there, and you've got Calvert-Lewin there. And then I've put players on this side that are all wingers, however I think could fit that position up front as the number 9, and one of which I think should play as the number 9 going forward, at least in the time being, while Cenk sort of gives himself a rest and gets his confidence back. So obviously we'll discuss the strikers first. So I've just spoke about Cenk Tosun. I like Cenk Tosun. I mentioned it in my review for the West Ham game. I don't think he done enough in that game yesterday, and I don't think he's done enough this season. I appreciate the fact that he's doing other people's work and he's sort of coming into midfield and collecting the ball and then spraying it out elsewhere, but if you're going to do that, you can't afford to miss your chances when you get them, because you only get few. And Cenk has only had a few chances this season because of that other work, and it's okay sitting back and saying, okay, he's doing other people's work, you know, he's getting the ball and he's bringing the ball, but the fact of the matter is, he's not fast enough to sort of do that effectively, and when he gets his chances, he's not converting. There's a couple of times in the West Ham game where balls were put straight into the box, Digne, Kenny putting balls into the box, and Cenk just wasn't in the right position, and that's happened quite a few times this season in the games. He hasn't been in that dangerous position to be able to put the ball in the back of the net, and again, you could say that's understandable because he's doing other people's work, but what's really not acceptable is the chances that he's had and that he's missed this season. We've seen 2 specifically against West Ham, one in which was a header in front of the park end where it's literally just, he just needs to guide it anywhere in the goal other than at the keeper, and that's where he guides it, and another one is in front of the Gladys seat where he literally he's got basically an open goal and he doesn't even hit the target, he skies the ball over. Now I like Cenk Tosun, as I said, and he's proven for Everton before that he can put the ball in the back of the net and he can be a prolific striker. I just think that he's lacking confidence at the minute, and it's not going to help him carrying on playing and having that pressure that he needs to score, because the goal is going to be literally tiny for him, and every time he gets the ball he's going to be panicking about scoring. I think it'll do him good to get out the team and, you know, regain his confidence a little bit, bring him back maybe in the Carabao Cup game, let him get a goal there and then build on that, obviously. Now talking about the other 2 strikers, we've got Calvert-Lewin and Oumar Niasse. Now Calvert-Lewin's been another player that's been sort of spoken about recently with Evertonians, majorly because he's played out of position and he hasn't performed brilliantly in that position. I've said it a couple of times. I said it on the video, the West Ham review yesterday, Monday, sorry, this is going out on Wednesday, Monday. I said that Calvert-Lewin isn't a winger and shouldn't play on the wing. Just because he's got pace and he has got a little bit of power doesn't mean that he's a winger. He is a natural centre forward. He can score goals. We know he can score goals. He's proved that he can score goals. It's just that I don't think he should play on the wing. I really don't think that he's beneficial, and I think he just fades out the game, and that's really sort of disappointing to see, because Dom could really become a good striker if he's sort of coached in that position and played in the correct position. So having said that, do I think he's ready for the Premier League yet? No, I don't think he's sort of there in terms of his ability, to score, his ability to trap the ball, his ability to run on, his strength. I don't think he's quite there. He's got all the potential in the world, and he, you know, don't get me wrong, he really, you know, he's proved that he can put the ball in the back of the net in the Premier League and he can have an impact on big games. We've seen it in the derby last season, but I just don't think he's ready yet, especially not to sort of get in front of a player that's lacking confidence and this be a sort of big opportunity to get his run in the starting 11. I don't think he's ready for that. As for Oumar Niasse, obviously the whole saga of Oumar Niasse has just been absolutely unreal since he's joined Everton. He signed under Roberto Martinez, I think it was, in January. Then Ronald Koeman come in and didn't take a liking to him at all. Basically, one of Ronald Koeman's first press conferences, sort of when he joined as manager, he said that the lad is not good enough and that if he wants to play football, he's going to have to look for another club. He then, you know, we know the information, he then didn't have a locker, he wasn't able to train with the first team, he wasn't able to eat with the first team, all that. And then obviously we've seen Ronald Koeman get into a sort of a similar situation that we're in now, really, in a lack of strikers. We obviously sold Lukaku and Niasse was called upon by Koeman, and you know, the fans jumped on it because it was sort of like a hero story that he'd been sort of missed away and then he'd been brought back in, and with that confidence and with that sort of backing from the fans, Niasse ended up doing quite well and scoring a few good goals for us and scoring goals that we certainly gained us points. However, I think this season he's gone sort of back to the player that we sort of know. Rather than being a good player, he's now just sort of a cult hero at Everton, and a player that, you know, we brought in to sort of to do a job because no one else was there, and based on his confidence and the fact that the fans got behind him, he done that job. But now we're sort of seeing that he's actually not good enough to play in the starting 11 for Everton. So on this side, I've put players that are more sort of natural wingers, maybe players that could play through the centre, but I think would really benefit playing centre forward this season. Especially the players that give us an option. And if we, you know, if Cenk Tosun hasn't got the confidence, if Calvert-Lewin's not ready, and if we don't rate Niasse as a striker, these are certainly players that can come in and sort of do a job for us. So I've put up there the top one, which we'll speak about in a second, Richarlison. I've put him top for a reason, and we'll speak about that in just a second. I've then put Ademola Lookman there as well. I don't know whether you class Lookman as a striker. Obviously, he was brought in as a striker and played his first few games for us as a centre forward, but now he's playing more naturally on the wing. I thought I'd put him over there, and I think he's more beneficial on the wing than Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, so that's why I put him over there. And then obviously Theo Walcott, who we know is a natural winger. So starting off with the main man, Richarlison. Now this was the main point of this video, really. This was my inspiration for making this video. I suppose the point I'm trying to get across is I believe Richarlison should play centre forward against Arsenal and in the coming games. Now, I haven't made the decision in my head yet whether that's to take Cenk Tosun out and give him a few games on the sideline, or whether Richarlison should play directly next to Cenk Tosun, and maybe take one of the midfielders out. Again, you know, Gareth Gay had a poor game, and obviously Morgan Schneiderlin's going through the horrific time that he's going through. I don't know whether it'd be a case of taking one of them out and just having one central defensive midfielder and playing the two strikers together, or just bringing Cenk Tosun out and giving him a few games on the sideline to sort of regain his confidence and let him take him out the limelight for a minute and away from the fans fuming, you know, with all the talk that is he good enough, is he not good enough, sort of. So I put Richarlison there, like I say, for a key reason. I think the lad is fantastic. He's got pace, he knows where the goal is, he's skillful, he's strong, and one of the main things which we're lacking really is he puts himself about and he gets kicked, and we don't actually realise the amount of times Richarlison gets kicked in a game. The reason why he lashed out against Bournemouth and got the red card was just because he was getting kicked constantly. He did against Wolves, and you know, we've seen it last season with Watford. He's constantly getting kicked because players know he's a good player and he can turn you in an instant, and he's skillful and he's fast and he's going to get past you, so they've got to put a foot in. And I think having him in the centre and having him in the 6-yard box, you know, if he gets kicked or if he feels contact, he's going to go down and it's a penalty. It just is a penalty. Other reasons, obviously, the fact that he played centre forward for Watford for a little bit as well. I know he played on the wing, but he'd have a few games centre forward. And the main one that sort of cropped up in recent weeks, obviously last week or the week before last, when he played for Brazil on international duty, he played centre forward. Obviously, he had the number 9 shirt and he managed to bag himself 2 goals, and he actually won a penalty in that game as well. 2 very good goals, and I haven't actually seen the penalty that he won, but you know, stats speak words, and he has proved that, you know, he can play through the middle and he can play central. And if we haven't got a player that can play central and be beneficial in that centre forward position, why not try Richarlison there? One of the sort of points that, you know, strengthened this point and made me, you know, believe in this Richarlison playing up front a lot more was the introduction of Bernard. On Sunday, obviously, he came on against West Ham just before half-time, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Don't get me wrong, I said in the video that I made about him that I think he should play more centrally, and I still do think he should play more centrally, but he's proven that he can come on the wing and do a job and, you know, play to a decent standard. He was getting past players, he was knocking it past, and he was either running past players or running into them and getting fouls. And you know, he's skillful and he knows where his next sort of pass or his next ball is going to be, so he knows what he's doing. And I think having him on on the wing and having Richarlison up front, especially against Arsenal, it's just a real positive. And I think it's, don't get me wrong, Richarlison is going to be in the team no matter what. He's either going to play on the left hand side or he's going to play up front, and I think it's just more beneficial playing him up front with Bernard on the left hand side than having him on the left and, you know, bagging that he might get a goal or two, and then having an unconfident Cenk Tosun who really can't hit the target at the minute up front, because then that we're losing effectively an attacking player. So talking about the other two, obviously I put Ademola Lookman up there. You know, I made the video about Lookman as well. Not being his biggest fan this season, don't get me wrong, I don't think he's had the enough chances to sort of judge him and judge his performances, but I just don't think his attitude's there for me. I don't think he wants to be at Everton. I might be proved wrong, he might just be unconfident, a little bit like Tosun, but I just don't think his attitude's quite there, and I think Marco Silva clearly sees something, because he's, you know, it's getting to desperate times really before he brings him on. You know, it's getting to the last 10 minutes of a game that we're losing 3-1 in before he even introduces Lookman. And don't get me wrong, I've got a broad mind, because I'm looking at that thinking, well, Lookman can't really do anything in this 10 minutes because he's not given enough time, but then again there must be a reason why he's not being given enough time. So I don't know. I've put him up there obviously because he does naturally come on as a winger, and, you know, he can score goals. We've seen him score goals last season when he joined, and it's an option, isn't it? Let's be honest, we haven't got many. We really haven't got many options to play up front, even to play on the wing, so he's definitely an option. Obviously the third one that I've put down there is Theo Walcott. Now, naturally, in his long-lasting career, Theo Walcott will have played centre forward at some point. I dare say he's had a couple of games for Arsenal that he's played just centre forward, and we know that Theo can find the back of the net. We know he's skillful, we know he's fast, and we know he knows where the goal is, and he's already proved that in an Everton shirt both this season and when he joined towards the back end of last season as well. So again, he's just another option that we can put up front if we're getting sort of, you know, a lack of strikers, and Tosun's not doing it, and maybe Richarlison's more fitted to the left hand side. We can maybe put Theo up there to sort of play as the striker, and we know we can find the back of the net. Maybe a more beneficial there, I don't know. I personally think that out of all of the options I've brought there, I think Theo is probably the least I'd like to see up front, just because I think he offers so much on the wing. Don't get me wrong, he's had a couple of poor games, but I think overall he does offer a lot on the wing. But again, he's another option, and we know he can play as a centre forward. So yeah, that's my views on the whole centre forward striker situation. I don't think anyone should write Cenk Tosun off, and I'm not writing Cenk Tosun off. I think Cenk Tosun is a fantastic footballer, and I think the only thing he's lacking really is pace. And I think with confidence, and if he had pace, he'd be, you know, top level. But yeah, he is lacking confidence majorly this season, and, you know, like I said, it's okay saying, you know, he's playing other positions and he's doing other people's work, but at the end of the day, when he's getting them chances in front of goal, we've seen it a couple of times against West Ham, he could have easily had a hat-trick, and he's missing sort of very clear-cut chances that you'd expect your striker to score. So I think it would be beneficial just to take him out the limelight for a little bit, maybe play Richarlison through the middle. I don't know, I've seen shouts for, you know, Bernard, Sigurdsson. The only reason I didn't put Bernard and Sigurdsson is because I didn't just want to throw anybody that plays ahead of the central defensive midfielders as an option for centre forward. But that doesn't mean that he can't. You know, Gylfi Sigurdsson can play centre forward, and I dare say Bernard can play centre forward as well. But I would like to see them players utilised in other positions and sort of have the wingers be moulded into centre forwards if need be. I say moulded, to be honest. Richarlison wouldn't even be moulded into a centre forward because he played there before and he knows how to play it. And I dare say Walcott and definitely Ademola Lookman are very similar as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Do you think that Cenk should just keep getting game time, and, you know, it's only a matter of time before he gets the goal? Do you see it like I see it and see that he's just lacking confidence game after game, and he quite clearly doesn't know how to hit the target at the minute, and he's very nervous when he's in front of goal, and he should be taken out and given a little bit of a rest, a little bit of time to sort of recoup himself and regenerate himself, and then come back hopefully confident and get goals you know, in the next coming games. Probably going to see him in the Carabao Cup game against Southampton. Or do you think, you know, Richarlison just should come straight in and play up front, and then that's it, he should just play up front from now on, and we should sort of nurture Bernard into that left wing position, or look for somebody else to come in that left wing position? Or do you think any of the other options, or anybody else for that matter, that I've presented should play up front? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know who you think should start up front against Arsenal. Let me know your thoughts, why you think they should start up front. Do you think, like I said, Tosun should be given more game time? Do you think that we should just, you know, nurture a Calvert-Lewin into a natural striker and let him have the game time and let him learn out the position? I'd I wouldn't be totally against that. But then again, I probably would, because the way we've performed so far this season and the fact that we are only 5 games in and Marco Silva's got a massive ship to turn around here, I don't think it'd be fair on Dom to throw him in, and it'd be very risky. I think we should just go with what's working and then, you know, nurture Dom into a centre-forward position towards the end of the season if we're doing well, and then obviously next season as well. So let me know your guys' comments in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching the Mighty Blues. Again, thank you so much for the support recently. It's been absolutely amazing. And I'll see you guys on Friday for the preview of the Arsenal game. Hopefully we can come out with a result. I'm not quite confident we'll get a win. However, hopefully we can come out with something at the Emirates, and I'll be putting a predicted team and you'll see who I predict to start and who I think should start in that video as well. So thank you guys so much for watching the Mighty Blues, and I'll see you guys soon.